Times it can break, haven't been. I think Tuchel come in and at the beginning of the season, we were all guns blazing, weren't we? And I think we've become over-reliant on certain players. But I think, look, we can't dwell too much on it. We can't be too hard on ourselves. I think we've got the credentials to do it. We need to maintain the confidence and just get your heads in the right place. And I think, I'm happy for a high number of goals today.
Definitely. I hate to be that guy, Dan, but one of the worst football cliches that I always used to annoy me was that they're getting in the right places. The goals will come. They're getting in the right places. But that is exactly what it is, isn't it? They're making the opportunity. You should be more worried as a manager if you're not creating anything than if you are creating and not taking them.
Yeah, we're not flat. We're creating a lot of chances. I mean, against Everton, we created enough chances to win that game, this game, and probably the next game as well, if we start putting our chances away. But it just didn't happen. Obviously, Mason got on the score sheet, but then we got sucker punched. It just seems like we're being punished for all our mistakes at the moment. But today is an opportunity to just turn that around now, and that's it. Get in some good momentum in a very busy period.
Good teams go through spells like this.
Yeah.
Great teams get through spells like this, and this is a great team, isn't it?
Yeah, and you know what? I think it's about clean sheets as well, isn't it? I think look, when we dominate possession, I'm sure we're going to do the same today. It is about the concentration. It is about just buying into the game plan. Sometimes it can get a bit monotonous, especially when the games come thick and fast. But it's patience, mindset, and they need to start enjoying themselves again a little bit as well. Don't put too much pressure on themselves. Don't be too hard on themselves. And if they need any help, I'm sure you get older. Dan, if you get involved.
Dan, there is a little bit of that, isn't it? We need to get back to enjoying it. But I suppose when you've constantly got the heat of Liverpool and Manchester City, who are so relentless breathing down your neck, you want to get back to your best as soon as possible.
That's the issue. It just seems like Man City and Liverpool seem to be winning quite comfortably right now. And it feels like we're working very hard just to even get ahead right now. Even though we're playing well in some of these matches, things aren't dropping for us. The ball's not hitting the back of the net as often as we'd like. So the pressure naturally builds, whether you're home or away. The fans feel it, everyone watching at home feels it, and the players will definitely feel it as well. So it's about kind of, relaxing, I guess, now. There's probably a little bit less pressure on us now that maybe people are expecting us to drop more points. And we're just going to have to show some character.
What I do like, Claire, and it's a really strange thing, but I like that feeling of injustice when you're a Chelsea fan as well. When things aren't going our way, we're not getting the rub of the green, when people are starting to write us off. I like that as a Chelsea fan.
It's like underdog, isn't it?
Yeah, I quite
enjoy being underdog. When the pressure is kind of off a little bit, right, almost, because people are expecting you to fail. And I think people quite like sometimes Chelsea to fail because of how successful we have been as a club. But that might help the players. So say in front of goal, sometimes you can panic. If you're not as confident, you miss the last few chances. I think we might actually thrive under this situation.
It's nice, isn't it? Because there's that side of it, and there's also the flip side where it's clear and obvious that some players enjoy the pressure and enjoy the fact. Mason Mount's a prime example. I'm sure we'll talk about him in depth at numerous points during the show and the rest of the season, but he feels like a player that enjoys responsibility and taking that load on. Yeah,
and when things aren't going great for us, you can always count on him to put the team on his back. The one thing he has that he's always going to have is hard work.
You know what? I think we count on him too much sometimes, though, don't you think?
Yeah, we do. But he's always there to be counted on. That's why we count on him, because when it's a little bit tough and we need someone to create that spark, it's usually him that does it. Ziyech had a good game the other day as well. It's just not really happening for us right now. And look, we're spoilt because it's not like we've been getting beat 3-0 and 3-0 and 3-0. We've just been dropping 2 points because we haven't been clinical enough. We're not getting beat. We're drawing and we're frustrated. We're only a few points off the top. It's not the same as it was last year when we hit this same patch. So, don't panic.
Absolutely right. Well, let's see the team that Thomas Tuchel has selected for this afternoon. Then the trip to Molineux starts with Edouard Mendy in goal, a back three, captained by Cesar Azpilicueta, Thiago Silva and Antonio Rudiger. The four across the middle, Marcos Alonso on the left-hand side, and N'Golo Kanté back into the starting 11, alongside Trevor Chalobah in the middle of the park and Reece James on the right-hand side. A front three of Mason Mount, Christian Pulisic and Hakim Ziyech. A shorter bench for Chelsea this afternoon with Kepa Arrizabalaga, Marcus Bettinelli, Mateo Kovacic back into the side, Saúl Ñíguez, Ross Barkley and Malang Sarr as well. Who stands out for you there then, Claire?
I think, Pulisic at top there for me. I think he's so up and down, isn't he, sometimes with performances. He always gets fouled as well, doesn't he? At every game, as soon as he gets that first touch, he's always brought down. I think this is a time for him to kind of stand up and take charge, take responsibility, because he has the talent. I'm waiting for it. So for me, he stands out. Obviously, the midfield as well is different, but I'll leave that to Dan to talk about.
well, on that, we know Trev can play in that role.
Yeah.
And the joke is that you can play one in the middle, and as long as you've got two N'Golo Kantés either side, you'll be all right. And it does feel a little bit like the fact that N'Golo's back in the side is such a big deal.
Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, you don't expect to see Trev there, but you know Trev can play there. We've heard it all throughout his career that, you know, he can actually play as a DM. I wouldn't say we're sport for choice in the squad we've got. We've obviously got a lot of players missing, but that's a team that's good enough to go out and get 3 points, regardless of who's playing and who's playing where and what system it is. That's a very good Chelsea team.
And also the added impact of Trevor being so versatile, the same way we've got Reece James that can play in the middle, and we've seen him play in the middle of midfield as well. Trevor can play on the right-hand side, he can play in a back four, in a back three. That flexibility is so integral when it comes to playing games thick and fast. I'm sure as a player, you love the fact that you've got players that can fill in other holes.
Yeah, and then, you know, we know exactly what job he's going to do. I think the whole squad, you know, has that responsibility that they take on board. I think also during the game, the fluidity of movement as well, because of the familiarity of the roles, they're more likely to take the risks because they're going to be covering for each other and more front-footed. But yeah, it's nice to see, and as Dan said, I think that squad, that team, is good enough to go and win this game.
Maybe as well, you know, the added impact that we've not got a huge bench this afternoon, obviously 2 goalkeepers on there as well. Yeah. The need for players to perhaps take the responsibility, like we were saying earlier. We speak about the midfield 2 chopping and changing quite a lot, but the back 3 and the 5 of us, in terms of conceding goals recently, if you've got Trev and Kanté in there, that feels like more of a balance that you're going to perhaps stop conceding as many goals.
Yeah, it feels like a clean sheet. If that's your 5 protecting you, it feels like a clean sheet. But it's football, and you never know. That team with Pulisic, Ziyech and Mount, you know you can get goals. Yeah. And you know that you can keep clean sheets, and you've got Mendy in goal. It's just about the performance all coming together. Yeah. And Lady Luck helping us out if she needs to, and all of that kind of stuff. But I presume that team is good enough to go out there and beat Wolves, and Wolves are a bit of a mixed pack at the moment. You don't know what you're going to get from them, but we've got to be prepared for the best Wolves.
But let's be brutally honest, Claire. We've seen the state of football over the last couple of days, and there's so many games being called off here, there, and everywhere. The rhetoric throughout the season for Chelsea has been how good our squad is, how big our squad is, how strong and competitive it is, and even when we are missing 5 or 6. Like Dan said, whatever team goes out, you expect Chelsea to win because we're that good in depth. And I suppose this is where teams like Chelsea prove their mettle, proves their worth, because you go, we've got players missing, it doesn't matter, we'll carry on. Yeah, exactly, and the squad is built for this moment. The amount of fixtures, some say the pressure's going to be piled on so high that we're going to be in this situation, especially with COVID and injury pressures and kind of, you know, ins and outs of players and fluctuations. I do think that this is now a moment from when these players who have been on peripheries to take the opportunity. And yeah, we can't complain about the depth of squad because we have it, got the talent. That's a fantastic team put out. Completely agree. We are now joined by Matt Davies-Adams, who's at Molineux for us. Matt, afternoon, mate. Are you well?
Hi, Joe. Really good, thanks. How are you?
Yeah, very good, mate. Very good, thank you. We were just talking about, you know, the squad depth, and again, every Chelsea fan, like myself, like Claire, and like Dan, will have been refreshing Twitter every couple of minutes to see, you know, who unfortunately is going to miss out today. There's been quite a lot of false news as well that's gone out, and quite a lot of false rumours about players that are going to be ruled out, and then all of a sudden they're in the starting lineup today. There is a little bit of that, but there's also the fact that we were just talking about the strength in depth that Chelsea have got, and you have to be able to deal with moments like this and injuries and illness or whatever it is. But that's what makes champions, is you get through games where there's a slightly difficult spell.
Yeah, absolutely. And, you know, if you look at the starting 11 today, yes, you'd like a natural striker there or a Kai Havertz if you can't get that. But there's only 2 changes. And I quite like the look of a Chalobah Kanté midfield. I've got to be honest, I'm quite looking forward to seeing that. So having 4 outfield players on the bench is far from ideal. But the actual starting 11 looks OK to me.
Yeah, absolutely right, mate. And like you said, the lesser bench is concerning because, you know, it would be at any point, especially when you've got 2 goalkeepers on. There's not a huge amount of options. But when the 11 that's starting is as good as it is, potentially you want the game wrapped up so you don't need to rely on replacements.
Yeah, that's true. And the other thing is, it might not take many goals to win this game because Wolves don't score very many at all. They got one at Brighton, and that was a very understrength Brighton on Tuesday night. But in general, particularly here at Molineux, actually, they've struggled for goals this season. That might be helped by the fact they've got Raul Jimenez back today. But I do feel like maybe one goal either way would be enough to swing it this afternoon.
Absolutely. Matt, fantastic as usual, mate. Thank you very much. Enjoy the game, and we will no doubt check in with you a little bit later on. Let's get back to that, and because that's the important thing to remember, isn't it, Dan? That we have got a squad, like we keep saying, not ideal, far from ideal, but when things are going on that are bigger than football, you deal with the hand you're dealt, and we've got a very good hand.
Yeah, exactly. This is we've talked about it all season long. This team, this squad, how big is it? It doesn't matter who plays, we're always good. And now we've got to go and prove it. Because now we are in that part of the season where we have a stripped squad, and it's still a very good squad. I wouldn't love to play against Chalobah and Kanté in midfield, even if that's not our, the midfield we've been playing all season. That's not the two players you want to come up against. So regardless of who's in a team, it's still a very, very good team.
Absolutely right, and that's exactly it, isn't it? The Kanté Chalobah 2 in the middle, that's not something we've seen, but that doesn't mean they've not played together in training and those partnerships, and that might be the perfect balance that maybe gives N'Golo a little bit more freedom to go forward if he's got numbers.
Yeah, exactly that, and I think that the defensive prowess of both of them is going to release our attackers, it's going to give them a little bit more confidence to know that actually, if they take that riskier pass, it doesn't matter as much. Well, obviously it matters, but I mean, they've got more security behind them. But also, as you said, N'Golo Kanté can break the play up as he does, but also start driving with the ball a little bit more because he knows he's got Trevor behind him.
Absolutely right. Let's get on to Play Predictor then. Obviously, loads of really cool prizes that you can win each and every match day. Every month there's a big winner as well, and at the end of the season there's a massive prize that you could win. Festive boosts all over the place as well. Check the Fifth Stand app. You got until 5 minutes before kick-off to get your entries in. So, Claire, I'm going to start with you then. Final score. 3-1. Nice. OK. Dan, first goal scorer.
Mason Mount.
Mason Mount. Claire, let's go possession.
75%.
Nice. Dan, shots?
I'm going to go shots 12.
12, OK, there you go. There are our predictions. So you, as always, ignore everything that we've said and make your own predictions. 5 minutes until kick-off, you can get involved with that. Let's get some social media reaction then to the team news that's come out. Big up the Chelsea supporters who have made the trip to Wolverhampton in such uncertainty. When you feel everything is against you, a win will be so sweet. Let's get behind every player out there today. Come on, Chelsea. Absolutely spot on, Chris. Yeah. And salute to every Chelsea fan that's made the trip today because, again, we've all come in today, scrolling, refreshing, and everything like that. If you've paid out to go to Wolverhampton to support Chelsea, fantastic. Salute to you. Absolutely superb. That's exactly what we want. That's exactly what we're going to do. So let's crack on with the social. Yes, welcome to the social. So this is the part where we dive through everything in the social media world that's to do with Chelsea through Chelsea timeline, I suppose. So that's such. We've got trending topics. We've got strolling down Fulham Road, where we're going to help Dan out with his Christmas shopping. We've got Overland and Sea, wherever we may be. And in case you missed it as well, we're starting with show and tell. So this is Molineux moments. Obviously, we're against Wolves today, up at Molineux. So we picked 3 goals against Wolves that are fantastic. Claire, you're going to start with an absolute banger from Fikayo Tomori.
Yes, I am. This was a fantastic first goal for Tomori. Build up play, the ball falls on the edge of the box so nicely to his right foot, and it's a curler from the outside. The goalkeeper's just stood still almost, hasn't he? He's just gone to attempt to do it, but what a fantastic strike. He doesn't even look surprised. He knows he's capable of it, doesn't he? I think after the game, I remember him saying, he saw it come into him and he just wanted to get it on target, and he did get it on target with an absolute rocket. Such well placed, such nicely hit. And yeah, that's the goal for me.
That's a fantastic goal. It's a really, really nice... And that was obviously the game where Mason and Tammy both got on the score sheet. Tammy got a hat-trick, so a really nice moment for Cobham. Obviously, you decide which is your favourite moment in the comments below on the Fifth Stand Up. So there's Claire's. Dan, you gone with Frank Lampard.
I have. If there's anyone that's going to be able to top Tomori's goal, it's going to be Chelsea's leading goal scorer, Frank Lampard. He has a knack, This, you can't buy it. This is just timing. Honestly, that guy, he will arrive on time every single time.
Unlike you,
yeah? Unlike me. But look at that, he starts a move. How many times have we seen it? He drifts, he's like a ghost, drifts into position, and it's a one-touch finish. We've seen that hundreds of times for him.
Last-minute winner, proper Frank Lampard.
That is so Frank.
If you look up Frank Lampard goal, that's it. Textbook, isn't it? It really, really is. I've got a little bit of a different flavour. I've gone with Hernan Crespo. Now, what a goal this was. One of my favourite players, one of the coolest, silkiest players. And again, the angle there, the speed it arrives at him, And like you just said with Frank Lampard, he's just got that composure, that knack of getting everything on target. There's enough strikers you see who either touch late and it goes wide or hits the side net and look like it's close. Everything about it, calm, composed, and the speed that it hits the back of the net, side-footed as well. Goalkeeper's still looking for it. Can't find it, nowhere near it.
Can I just say, they're both of them are tap-ins, right?
Oh, come on.
You can't compare that to Tomori's striker, right?
Tomori's is up there,
Frank's was by design. That's how he scored goals.
Get your votes in. Decide which one is your favourite in the comments down below on the Fifth Stand-Up. Right, let's get on to the trending topics of the week. And obviously, the biggest trend over the last couple of days has been Money Mace, and it's got to be Mason Mount. I mean, what a player he has turned into. I suppose a little bit of a stop-start to the season after the Euros and everything like that, but he's in the form of his life at the moment. I mean, some of these stats and statistics and figures about him are absolutely fantastic. What do you think I mean, he's added so much to his game this season.
He's just how many times can we talk about Mason Mount? He is the complete player. We don't know where his ceiling is either. He's getting better. He's going to come into his physical prime at some point soon, which is going to be even scarier. Just has a perfect knack as to when to release the ball, when to shoot. He wants to hurt you. On the half turn, I've never really seen a player hurt teams as much as him. His first touch is just out and at you straight away. He's just a fantastic player, and he's very reliable, hard work, and he's got all the attributes. You know, forget all the talent that he's got. He works hard.
Absolutely right. We're also going to get involved Jonathan in this chat, who is our overseas fan. Jonathan, we've spoken to you before, of course, for the Champions League final, but we're always waxing lyrical about Mason Mount, so we thought we'd give you the opportunity as well. Mason's been fantastic this season, hasn't he?
Yeah, I remember the game. If I'm not wrong, it's 2 seasons ago where his free kick earns us the win.
Yes, absolutely right. Against Wolves. I think it was against Wolves actually, final day of the season, wasn't it? Yeah.
It's the same opponent.
Fantastic. Right, I'll tell you what, let's get some stats in because of Mason. These sort of tweets kind of sum everything up, really, isn't he? I mean, so Simon Phillips, Mason Mount is the youngest Chelsea player ever to score 20 Premier League goals. Yeah. That is a stat in itself, considering the players that have played for Chelsea at a young age. Well, this is his game, his performance on Thursday. 80% passing accuracy, 66 touches, 7 crosses, 6 shots on goal, 4 shots on target, 2 tackles, 1 chance, 1 goal. He does absolutely everything, Jonathan, doesn't he? We are very lucky to have Mason Mount within the squad.
Definitely, he reminds me a lot. The numbers reminds me a lot of Frank. So our super Frank. Hopefully the longevity is there. Hopefully he can stay injury free and he'll be our main player for sure.
That's a big thing as well, isn't it, Claire? Because like Jonathan said there, if he stays injury-free, he's playing so much football all the time at the moment. And we're getting very reliant on him at such a young age already. Yeah,
he's Mr. Reliable, isn't he? And as you said, injuries, I think he does need to be kind of looked after as well. But also, if he's enjoying himself, if he's in the form of his life, he's going to have to take responsibility for his performances and how he feels. I'm sure the medical staff and the manager, he'll keep in constant communication with them to make sure he's in tip-top condition. But even post-injuries, post-setbacks, he still comes back with such high levels straight away. And I think that's just credit to his hard work. He clearly does lots of hard work behind the scenes, and it comes to fruition on the pitch.
These goals as well, Jonathan's just made the comparison, but they are very Frank Lampard-esque in terms of finding pockets of space in the box that other players don't really do, you know, and they're all sort of in the box, 6-yard box, 6-yard box, 6-yard box, even the volley or the edge of the area, he finds a little pocket of space and he lets it go early. So many goals are very reminiscent of Frank, not in the same way in terms of a lot of Frank's goals were fantastic, but they were very sort of whipped for the penalty area. Mason's required to do a little bit more, I think, than Frank was at this stage. Again, this is amazing. Take away being a rival fan, Mason Mount is in the form, he's like, credit where it's due. We like Claire said, we have to protect him because he's so reliable, he's so consistent for us, not only for England as well, but in terms of his development, the way he's grown into a character and a leader. He's worn the armband a couple of times already, but he's a Chelsea captain in waiting, isn't he?
Yeah, and that's part of the reason, I think, when we say he reminds us of Frank, it's not just the way he scores and the amount of goals he scores, but it's the fact that he's clutch, very reliable. When we're finding it tough to break teams down, you know it's going to be him that pops up with a goal. And he's obviously got just a top mentality because he's always looking for ways to improve his game as well, and it just shows the drive. Like, he wants to be better, he wants to be as good as he can possibly be.
Completely agree, and this is Mason Mount's form right now. He is absolutely smashing it, isn't he, as well? And we've had another addition to the Matchday Live team. Jonathan, do you want to talk us through Chelsea's latest signing here?
Yeah, it's James.
Oh, I love that. How old is James?
Yeah, doing good. He's a Chelsea fan for now.
Oh, fantastic. Well, he's been born into the right club there, definitely, hasn't he?
Definitely.
Oh, mate. I love that. And you never know. We might be speaking about James as being the next one to make 20 goals in the Premier League for Chelsea. You never know. Is that his destiny?
I hope so. I let him choose his destiny, but of course, that would be a dream come true.
Absolutely right. It's nice to see players that are coming through the academy and doing so well, Claire. We've spoken about it so often, haven't we? It's really nice to see. It really, really is nice to see. The one thing that I suppose for Mason is now he becomes that figure for Chelsea and how he deals with that, because it's all well and good when you're coming through and people go, he keeps getting better, but when he becomes the guy that season in, season out have to replicate that, that's a different animal to deal with. And
you know what, I think while he's on this role, it's not really, I'm sure he doesn't sit there and reflect on that and go, I'm like this important to the club, or I'm the one who needs to step up. I think because has such good momentum, he probably doesn't dwell on it that much, and in doing so you're not going to absorb as much pressure. I think it's really important for the infrastructure around him to help him with that, because it is going to weigh on his shoulders at some stage. And I think sometimes you get a bit older, you get a bit more aware of them kind of pressures. So I think he stays grounded, he keeps working hard. All he can do is work hard every single game, and that's all we want from him. And if he does that, he gets a result. So that's all he can control, right? So I think if he keeps controlling what he can control, then I think the pressure will be manageable for him.
I think that's absolutely spot on. And the fact that he's got his friends around him in terms of Reece and and he's come through with Fikayo and Tammy that are doing so well away from the club now. But Callum Hudson-Odoi's still here, Ruben's still here. Yeah. He's got people around him that he's grown up with. So I suppose there isn't that case of you've been dropped in on your own and all of a sudden everyone's looking at you. Yeah. You're looking at people that you can rely on. Yeah,
you're with your peers, you're with your friends that you've grown up in the same club. They've got the exact same pressures as you. It's kind of the perfect breeding ground for that kind of quality top player. And plus, he's got a good family around him. His dad's always kept him grounded. His dad is part of the reason why he works so hard. He said, don't be a luxury number 10. Yeah. Make sure you work hard as well. And that's obviously stuck with him. And because of it, we get somebody who is technically incredible, scores lots of goals and has all the flair to his game, but also has the dark arts and the dirty side and the stuff that you need to win games and to win leagues.
Absolutely right. Right, time then to go strolling down Fulham Road. OK, well, obviously, opening times of the Mega Store online for you. You can also buy a lot of what's in the shop online for you. But we're going to focus on, I suppose, we're not going to focus on the kits and stuff like that, 'cause you can get a kit. What we're going to focus on is the little trinkety things you can fill stockings with. So let's start over here. We've got, this is lovely actually, Dan, because little Christmas decorations, they're timeless, they're quite difficult to get hold of, but anything Chelsea is a dream.
Obviously, and these are naughty elves, I'm assuming. You got to do whatever you've got to do with them. They hang from lights, they turn the ovens on, maybe not that one actually, but they are designed to be a naughty elf, and if you can get a Chelsea one, it's even better. Yeah, I like that a lot. Especially this as well, little pool table, because if you've got family, if you've got friends, if you've got little ones that are coming over Christmas, you've not got room for a big pool table, who has? But a small little one, Chelsea drawing as well on the side, and it's in the sale as well, that'll do nicely. And it's got a centre circle on it. Didn't realise that the first time round, I just saw it now. It's got a centre circle. That's nice, actually. I didn't clock that. Little details. I like that. Obviously, essential to New Year. Everyone gets a calendar for Christmas. Chelsea one in the sale at the moment in the Mega Store as well. £6.90, which is very reasonable. And again, all your favourites on there. Mason Mount, Kai Havertz, Romelu Lukaku, Edu Mendy, Timo Werner. Stockings underneath. Dan, have you got a stocking? I have, but I've got a more conventional red one. I think I need a Chelsea one. I do think I need. I've got Chelsea stuff littered all over the house. I'm not sure how much more Chelsea stuff I'm going to get away with in this house, but there's always room for more. So I'm sure as we walk around, we'll see some more things that are going to end up in my house again this year. My missus is absolutely sick of it, but she has no choice. There's a lot of sale stuff over there. You can see all the training wears on sale as well. If you come down to the Mega Store, you'll see that. And again, we've got little teddies and stuff like that. You've seen these before. I'm going to try and not pick up too much and touch too many things, obviously because of COVID and stuff like that. But we've got a nice little Stanford the mascot. The nice little bulldog as well. They're always nice to be around the house. You into your golf, Dan? I'm not, but it's a new hobby I want to pick up in 2022. I hear you are the guy for golf. What would my Parby. I want a really good one.
I mean, your handicap,
Yes, that's the one.
you'd start high and work your way down. Pat Nevin's the one you've got to watch. He's an absolute bandit at golf, so he's the one. So Pat's already probably got these on his bag. You've got a nice little golf tail, Callaway golf tail. Callaway's a very good golf brand, okay? You've got stuff, this will go in your bag, this essentially will keep your tees in and your ball repairs and stuff like that. Ties for when you go to the clubhouse afterwards.
Yes.
You need to be dressed smart at a golf club a lot of the time. And then obviously scarves. You don't actually wear a scarf when you're playing golf, but at the same time, it's a really smart one. So if you go into events or if you're going to go and watch the golf, occasionally people will go and do that. That's quite a nice little thing to have.
It's beautiful. Good to know. I'm going to probably end up with more than a few of these, and that's going to be the one that confuses everyone the most. If I'm just coming back with golf stuff, golf Chelsea stuff. But this is what it's about. This is what Christmas is about. Just get more Chelsea stuff.
Absolutely right. And again, we've got loads of things down here. Oh, just be careful. Don't want to bump into anyone as well. Sorry, thank you very much. We've got loads of key rings as well. Chelsea key rings. Again, really good for the stocking if you're trying to fill little bits and pieces. Only a couple of pounds. A lot of these. You've got Chelsea magnets. These are really nice as well because you've got some down here that are obviously Champions League to do with Champions League. You've got a bottle opener as well. That's very keen over Christmas. Everyone's always hunting for a bottle opener around Christmas. So that'd be quite a nice one. How's your building? Obviously, you've got little uns. Are they into building stuff?
They don't have the patience for it.
Okay.
So they try, and then they get bored after 5 minutes. I've been after the Lego set that we're going to probably end up going past for ages, and I haven't got it yet, and this year is the year I get it, 100%.
Okay, well, let's go and have a look at that. We'll skip past all the mugs and stuff like that. Again, mugs are great for stocking fillers. You've got retro ones, you've got newer shaped ones, you've got glasses for people that are coming over Christmas. This is what you're talking about, isn't it? The construction to it. This is unbelievable. Like you said, patience is essential with that.
You can't just pick that up and start. You've got to know that that's going to take you more than a few hours. That is a lot of work, and it's so detailed. Look at that, you've got the hotel on the side of it. It's a work of art. That's beautiful. And realistically, you'd want to get the glass thing around it once you've built it, just to put it somewhere in the house and leave it there. No one ever touches it again.
And also, over Christmas, everyone gets a board game out. Board games are great, but usually they end up in a little bit of a tear-up, don't they, between the family. Monopoly, Trivial Pursuit, you've always got one that takes it a little bit too seriously. With this, like you said, once you build it, job's good. You display it somewhere nicely, and we've got loads of scarves and bobble hats and things like that as well. Hats are really important because it's freezing out there at the moment, Dan, and like you said before, not only is this something that comes out once a year, you're going to carry it through the rest of the year. You wear a hat, won't you?
And the rest of your life. It's a Chelsea hat. You wear it forever. It's Christmas now, but we know it's probably only going to get colder, unfortunately, between now and February. It's a good investment. It's a very good investment. It's one of the best things you can ever buy, a woolly hat, especially if it's Chelsea.
Absolutely right. And obviously, all the kits you can see throughout, the nice yellow away kit. We've got the third kit, which I think is upstairs. We're not going to go upstairs, obviously. Got too much time to pat in. We've got loads of bags, loads of coats, all sorts in the Chelsea Megastore. Get yourself online, you can buy all the stuff on there, or if in person, you can get down here, hand wash everywhere, sanitiser, face mask essential, all well and good. Get yourself involved, get yourself some Chelsea gear for Christmas, and there we go. What a job we've done there, Dan. You called a hat an investment piece as well, John.
And I meant it.
Why is he not wearing it then?
Yeah. I meant it. Oh, yeah.
It's warm in here. The studio's on warm. Anyway, let's move on to Overland and see. Jonathan, thank you so much for joining us again, mate. I think the last time we had you on, the last time we spoke, we were celebrating the Champions League together. So what a roller coaster it's been.
Definitely. I was here for the Arsenal game as well.
Of course you were.
Lukaku debut. He scored a goal, so fantastic game. Hopefully I can bring luck to Chelsea as always.
Well, the two games you've been on for, then the Champions League final and an Arsenal win, we're expecting a comfortable one this afternoon. Sure, our good luck charm. Is that how it works?
Yeah, I hope so. Hopefully with my son as well, we bring luck to Chelsea.
Absolutely, yeah. Well, again, only seeing good times for Chelsea at the moment. Obviously, the last couple of weeks it's been, it's been quite difficult. But how have you been keeping in terms of watching games and things like that? Last time we spoke to you, you were in lockdown. You were having to have the parties that were finishing early, weren't you?
Yeah, but I think things are getting better, I hope. But let's hope that the game can continue. Let's hope that the players are healthy. And I believe that the team this is definitely not our first 11 or our strongest 11. But of course, I believe in the squad. I believe in the manager's decision. And hopefully we can have a win. But it will be a tough game for sure.
Absolutely right. And again, over Christmas, in the UK, the games are stacked up quite nicely so we can watch a lot of festive football. But I imagine the time difference makes that quite difficult for you over there at the moment.
It's not that bad today. It's just 10 p.m. for us, so it's not that bad.
Okay.
I've seen later games. Like Champions League final, it was nearly 4 a.m. for me. So this is definitely one of the better ones already.
Yeah, I imagine the 7:30 midweek against Brentford in the Carabao Cup's one that's going to be quite an early alarm for you then.
That would be tiring.
I'm sure your son James wakes you up for early games anyway, right?
Yeah, exactly. You've got a human alarm clock now in James, haven't you?
Yeah, definitely have to tend to him. but yeah, it's good fun. It's good fun. Hope he goes up healthy as well.
What have you made of the season then so far? Obviously, like you said, you were on for the Arsenal game, but since then it's been very good. I mean, Chelsea, competing at the top of the Premier League, through in the Champions League, a difficult end to it, but a good draw against Lille. Things are good at the moment.
Definitely. In terms of the league, I think that we are not. To be honest, I don't think we are favourites. So I think we are in a very good position right now. We are a team blend. We are a team blending well, and I think we are dark horses. We are the team to look out for as well. So, but definitely City and Liverpool are gelled. They are a team which is like maybe 2 or 3 years in the making. We are on the way there. And Champions League, Lille is especially no disrespect to Lille. They are the champions last year in the French league. So we have to bring our A game definitely in order to beat them. There's no easy game in the Champions League anyway.
No, absolutely right, mate. Absolutely right. And we'll definitely be on that. Looking forward to that one as well. Jonathan, stay with us. We're now going to cross to Matt Davies-Adams for wherever we may be.
So this is Molineux. You can just about make out behind me the Billy Wright statue, the iconic figure in the history of Wolverhampton Wanderers and the first player anywhere in football to earn 100 caps for his country. You can see the team coaches behind me too. Chelsea came up yesterday. Of course, plenty of supporters would have got the train up from Euston this morning. Change at Birmingham into Wolverhampton, about a 10-minute walk into Molineux. The stadium now around about 32,000 capacity on a full day. They're hoping to take it up to 50,000 eventually. It's a historic venue too. This was the site of the first ever league game in English football, believe it or not. Way back in 1889, Wolves beating Notts County by 2-0 on that day. It's a significant opponent, of course, for Thomas Tuchel too, because it was the first team that he faced as Chelsea manager. That was back at Stamford Bridge, their first visit to this stadium for Tuchel and his team, who like playing away from home on a Sunday. 7 wins from 8 in the last league games on the road on this day of the week, so let's hope that continues. Hasn't been that happy of a hunting ground for Wolves so far this season. They didn't manage so much as a goal here in any of their first 3 games. They did pick up a little bit before losing to Liverpool in their last match, but they've got a decent record on their own patch against Chelsea in recent years, having won 3 of the last 5 games. You'll remember the last time the Blues won here, of course, 2019, Tammy Abraham hat-trick, Fikayo Tomori's first goal, and a goal for Mason Mount. He's looking to score for the 5th consecutive Premier League game in a row here today. Not too long until we find out whether he'll be able to do that.
Brilliant work from Matt, as always. Right, time for In Case You Missed It, a little bit of a lighter look across social media. And we start with our very own Claire Rafferty doing the FA Cup draw. Oh, enjoy that, Claire?
I did. It was quite eventful. It was quite difficult pulling all their balls out of the bag because there was about 50 teams, I think, in the end. But yeah, it was not as formal as I thought it would be, and I didn't mess up like they did for the Champions League draw. So the pressure was on me, right?
If you did it once, it's the best draw of the week. You've done well.
Number 5. It got a bit repetitive, And you know what? Difficult. There's 6s and 9s.
Yes,
you can't
of course. Seen that going off front. Did you give it the old Rod Stewart?
No, I didn't.
No?
There was no camera, so I thought I can't be behind up to anything.
Yeah, fair point. Next up, going for quite a lean period at the moment, aren't we, of course, of keeping clean sheets. 5 people have managed Watford since they last kept a Premier League clean sheet. It's not the nicest stat, is it, that one? I'm not sure about that one. That's Watford, not great, Dan, keeping goals out, and if you change your manager more frequently than stopping goals going in, that could be a recurring issue.
Yeah, I mean, it's not the record that you want. I didn't even know that was the truth. I'm shocked. I'm actually shocked at that, but hopefully they improve. It's nothing to do with me. I don't really.
And their last clean sheet was a 3-0 win over Liverpool as well. Not a bad one to have on the record.
Not bad.
If that's what you're sticking on, you're staying with it. Understandably. Our former striker Sam Aleto has a new job as well. Congratulations to him, as he's the new president of the Cameroon Football Association. which is very cool. You see it quite a lot now, Claire, don't you? Footballers going into differing roles, and it's nice to see him on the board, and he's obviously going to play a huge part because obviously an absolute footballing legend. Yeah,
obviously pitch-wise, he's seen kind of the front and back around the environment and infrastructure around it, but then going into the business side of it, I think it is nice to have someone with that knowledge as well, because sometimes there can be a bit of a disconnect. So it is good to have someone leading the way who has lived the experiences.
Definitely right. And this is a bit of a geeky one, but commentators could do with a helping hand a lot of the time because it's difficult to pronounce the players' names a lot of the times. Obviously, quite a lot of summer inclusions, and here Norwich City have given all of theirs, all of the pundits and the commentators pronunciations for each players, which is really clever and really nice. They're a tiny touch, but it's really, really nice, isn't it? Because again, you know, some players don't mind it how the pronunciations, but it's nice to have had, isn't it? It's nice little detail.
There's nothing worse than getting a pronunciation wrong because you want to, you know, it's respecting that you want to try. So it's nice to give him a helping hand. Yeah, absolutely right. I'm enjoying that. I'm quite a fan of that. Dan,
yeah, I think it's very good. I feel like some players don't mind, but I want to say your name as you've been called your name your whole life. I don't want to say it as how I see it on a piece of paper. So I think it's good.
Yeah, no, absolutely right. Team, good work. Make sure you stick around because up next is the warm-up with our very own Max Jones and Jason Cundy.
Yeah, thank you, Joe, Claire and Dan. Good afternoon and welcome to Molineux for Chelsea's final Premier League game before Christmas, away to Bruno Lage's Wolves. It's two of the division's best defences going head-to-head in the Midlands, and Jason Cundy and I will be bringing you all of the action from kick-off at 2 o'clock in the UK. But before we hear from Jason, it's time to remind you of a very special competition. As regular viewers will be well aware, Trivago brings the world of travel and football together to offer epic experiences for Chelsea fans. Every month they've been giving you guys the opportunity to win incredible prizes, and December is no different. This week you've got the chance to be one of the 22 fans to win tickets to the Blues' upcoming matches against Brighton and Liverpool. There's a combination of VIP hospitality tickets and Genwood Mission tickets, so if you want to win yourself and your favourite +1, a last-minute Christmas present, then please do enter now. You've not got much longer to enter as this competition closes at midnight, so hurry on over to chelseafc.com/Trivago-competition to sign up. Fans must be aged 18 years of older or older, and terms and conditions do apply. And a reminder that this is your last chance, so please make sure that you enter now, or else you will risk missing out. It does sound like a perfect Christmas present for sure, and one which will be made even sweeter by 3 points here at Molineux today. As I mentioned before, I'm delighted to be joined by former Blue Jason Cundy. Good afternoon, Jason. What sort of game are you expecting here this afternoon?
Afternoon, Max, and good afternoon, everyone as well. What sort of a game am I expecting? Tough game. Wolves have shown over the last, I don't know, 3 or 4 months since Lage has come in that they are a very difficult side to break down. They're very well organised, very well coached. They know exactly what they're doing, tough to break down. So I'm expecting a very tight, maybe even a frustrating afternoon. Unfortunately, Max, I've been quite used to those of late. And I think if they had seen the way that Leeds perhaps defended in parts, certainly the way that Everton played, I think they'll go into this game believing they can get something out of this. It wouldn't surprise me if this is a 0-0 at half-time or even just a one-goal swing come the end of it.
Well, I mean, let's take a look at the analysis that you've got. You've got your 3 points for 3 points this afternoon, and where you feel that Chelsea can win the game today. So let's take a look at number 1. We'll have to be more clinical in front of goal if we get the chance.
Max, honestly, I've seen the stats, and recently, there's the last 3 games, we have had nearly 75 shots, and the goals to chances created and shots ratio is so poor. That is absolutely an area. We could have been 2 or 3 up after about 12 minutes midweek against Everton. Never took our chances. And, of course, if you don't take your chances, you know exactly what could happen. And it did, unfortunately, unravel in front of us. Dominated possession, as we have done. You know, there are so many games. And look back at Burnley, Manchester United, Leeds. OK, we got 2 goals there, but we ended up conceding. Got 3 goals and ended up conceding 2 as well. But I think that if you really wanted to sum up Chelsea right now, Everton was a very, very good look at who we are, right? Creating chances, don't convert them, and conceding goals as well. So, again, West Ham's another one. We just, right now, we need to kill games off when we have the chances.
Well, it's especially important to do so against Wolves. Just 2 goals conceded by them in their last 5 Premier League games. Let's move on to where they could potentially hurt us with point number 2. Deal with the counter, which is an area that Chelsea have struggled with in recent weeks.
Yes, and I think that we have to be aware of that. They are a side that will sit deep, defend very well, as I've said, very well organised, very well coached. But of course, then they look at the chances. If you can't sit deep all game, and they have players certainly up top in someone that I really like in Podence, and Jimenez has come back from suspension. They do have pace in their side. They can counter-attack, but I think it's about us really. Being aware of that. Trevor in the middle of the park is going to be absolutely crucial there. I think he has to be the one that's the more disciplined of the two, and making sure that the players in behind, we'll talk about that in a second, but need to really communicate, because we will, naturally the way we play, Alonso and Reece will play high and wide, almost like wingers. And if there is a transition in possession, and we do lose it in bad areas, those wing-back, where the space in between the wing-back and the centre-half, that's where they will look to exploit.
We mentioned about the wing-backs. It looks as though Wolves are going to be playing with wing-backs as well, 3 at the back for them. That brings us on to point number 3, which is finding a way to break down teams who match Chelsea's system. Well,
it doesn't seem to matter what system we play against right now. We don't quite we don't find a way to get the ball in the back of the net. Look, I've seen teams play against us and match us up all over the park. West Ham did something similar, and I think it shows a bit of respect to what we have. But you're absolutely right, we have to find a way. And sometimes, if there is no, in front of their back 5, where we had a lot of possession against West Ham, in particular in front of their wing-backs where they sat deep, if they decide to play a 5, the space will and has to be exploited is in front of those wing-backs. So Mason dropping there against West Ham, really, and Reece James wandering into those areas. But once we do get into there, then we've got to make it count. Then we have to make sure we turn those chances into goals. But yes, we have struggled of late when teams do play the same system as us.
Let's move on to the actual starting lineups that Matt brought us right at the top of the show. The one player that you were very keen to pick out almost immediately when those teams were announced is Trevor Chalobah, playing in midfield alongside N'Golo Kanté. Yep. He's switching there from centre-back, which is something that you said you did before as well.
Do you know, I played a couple of times there, and it was more enforced. I played what is going to be absolutely crucial for him. Now, I know he's played there in his career before, but the pitch is very different, because as a centre-half, everything you see is in front of you. So the whole pitch, every single player except for your goalkeeper, of course, but you see the pitch in a very different way. When you step into midfield, the pitch changes. There's the areas around you change. So the space that you normally cover in behind, you don't have to. So therefore, you'll be a little bit more disciplined. What is going to be crucial for him, what I found, is the voices behind you, constantly talking, giving you information. You need to make sure that you are listening and also communicating with them. Thiago is going to be absolutely, as experienced as he's got, he has to make sure that he is the voice and the ears, and that he can see everything that Trevor can, but also behind him as well. It makes communication is going to be absolutely crucial.
We've just been taking a look at some of the Wolves forward players warming up, but that brings us on to our ones to watch, our unit to watch, which is Chelsea's front 3. Talking about them because there's plenty of potential there for Ziyech, for Pulisic, for Mason Mount to switch positions, occupy different spaces, and really make it difficult for this Wolves defence.
I thought Ziyech had one of his best games for Chelsea, actually. First half, midweek against Everton, but it was excellent. With quiet second half. Mason is going to be... when you look at the numbers that he's now starting to stack up, certainly over the last 5 or 6 games, I think it's his 5th game he can score on the bounce. Those numbers are going to have to increase for him, and they will. Inevitably, they will. If he can start getting his double figures, goals, Premier League assists, then we start talking about a serious midfielder. Right now, he's 22 years of age, still got a huge amount of learning to do. But if he can get those numbers up, then we're talking about Frank Lampard would get somewhere between 15 and 25 goals every single season. He was a freak. If he can get anywhere near double figures every season, then that is an achievement. Talk about Pulisic, he's not a natural centre forward. His link-up play is going to be crucial. I think that we can be fluid between the 3 of them. They will wander into different areas, moving their back or trying to move their back 3, back 5 around, but dropping into that space between their midfield 3 and their back line. Can we get on the half turn? Can we just wander in there? Mason's brilliant. Ziyech can do it as well. So yes, those front three, not an ideal front three, don't have a recognised striker, but that's just the way things are at the minute.
It's interesting as well, when you look at their individual qualities, it seems like none of them are the same sort of player. You know, we've seen those Chelsea teams in the past where it's been Pedro, Willian, who are similar types of player, whereas these ones you've got a wide playmaker in Hakim Ziyech, you've got Mason Mount, who just seems to be everywhere, and Pulisic as well, who can drop deep, he can go in behind. Maybe a run of games with this front three, and we can see them start to build a connection together.
Yeah, I mean, it needs must right now. You know, Romelu is not about, Havertz is not available, so therefore you have to basically get on with what you've got. And those front three are good enough. Look, this team that we've seen here today, I think it might have been Dan that was saying it, this is a good side that we've got here. Make no mistake about it. This is a solid Chelsea 11 that I expect today to go, if we play well enough, and we've not been a shiny, sparkly as best of late, but if we do put in a performance, we will win today. That team's good enough, all over the pitch. Even though there is the odd one or two, like Trevor going into midfield, Pulisic up top, we have got enough about us to take 3 points today.
We are inching closer to kick-off at Molineux, just 20 minutes to go, and the players will soon be receiving their pre-match orders from the boss. So that means it's time for us to hear from the man himself. Here is Thomas Tuchel.
Thomas, first of all, how big a challenge is it for you to prepare for a game or games when the squad that you're working with seems to be changing all the time?
Yeah, it's another challenge on top of all the challenges that we already have. We're doing tests right now every single day, and we have to wait for the results to see who can train. And on match days to see who can play. So yesterday we ended up with 4 players out. We decided to leave Kai at home because he was not feeling so good. So in the end you end up with 5 players less. That's a challenge, but we still had 8 hours. We still managed to find a good team and a good performance. But we did not manage to win and get a deserved win.
By virtue of that then, Thomas, with players coming back at different stages, you've got players rehabbing, how difficult is it to try and get everybody together as a group?
It's impossible, I think. Right now it's impossible. It seems to be impossible. Matteo comes back now after 8 weeks of injury and COVID, and N'Golo comes back after 4 weeks of injury. Players will come back in 10 days from COVID. Everybody has a different effect from it. Meanwhile, we play all three games. We play matches. I think it's impossible to bring them all together on the same level. Maybe at some point we need to accept it and just let them play, take some risk, and let them play who's here, because we struggle. We struggle now. We struggle since weeks in central midfield. Jorginho is again in pain. Ruben Loftus-Cheek is in pain, and they both are in doubt for Sunday. So, I mean, at some point we need to take some risk with other players.
You alluded to the Everton game there, Thomas. Psychologically, how different is the approach when teams come to the Bridge and play with such a low block, with 7, 8, 9 players behind the ball?
Yeah, maybe it's how it is. They take this approach. I mean, if we took our chances that we created, and if it's a 2-0, 3-0, 3-0 at half time, maybe teams would change their approach again. If we let them escape with points or whatever, it's fair enough. You can play this game in whatever reason you want, in whatever shape you want to play it, and whatever approach you want to play it. We should not get bothered by it. We should not lose our nerves. We controlled it. We pushed the game way deep in their half. We created enough chances, so it was not the low block that cost us a win. It was our finishing and a lot of bad luck in the end of the game.
Taking the scoreline out of it, and again recently, if you look at a lot of the performances, if you look at Manchester United, you look at West Ham, you look at Everton, the performance has largely been very good, haven't they? Is that important to stress that to the players at this stage?
Yeah, it's sometimes hard to stress it, because I struggle to believe myself if you miss consistently results, it's hard to stress it because it's a bit like you don't want to hear what you're saying because you struggle to believe because we all are here for the proof, and the proof is results. And the players feel the same, I think. So yesterday was not the moment for me after the game to go in and say, hey, we played a fantastic match, hey, we played a great, hey, we scored, we did forget to score and blah. It was not, it did not feel like it, but overall, when you have the first disappointment off your shoulders, yeah, we focus on the performance because this is what we always do. It's hard when you don't have the result. It's hard to keep yourself up positive, but it's the only way how it works.
Looking at Wolves specifically then, Thomas, they've scored 2 and conceded 4 in the last 7. What type of game are you expecting against them?
It's a very, very disciplined team. Very hard to break the last line, very hard to create chances. They have a lot of individual quality, a lot of experience, international players, and a lot of speed and quality up front for counter-attacks. So we cannot only hurt them by possession. We need to be patient because I haven't found now teams who create endless chances. And if you want to win, you need to be ruthless. You need to be very efficient and clinical in front of the goal. And at the same time, very brave to close the spaces for counter-attack. And yeah, that's what it is.
Focusing on one of your players, Thomas, Mason Mount has come back, scored 4 in 4. Do you feel like you're getting the best out of Mason once again?
Yeah, he's good. He's very good in the moment. He's in a good place. I like how he plays, how he brings himself into position. He's very positive and it's nice. He's doing the next step. He arrives in the box. He's very aggressive in his game to break the last line is what we need.
Love that. There's the manager, Thomas Tuchel. Speaking about Mason Mount at the end. Right, it's time for the quiz. Jonathan, you can sit back and either get involved in this if you like, or you can just watch the other two squirm. It's completely up to you, but it's a bit of a maths quiz.
Can I get my calculator out?
No, absolutely not. Right. So the first question is, number of shots on target we had against Everton.
Oh, come
That's your starting number. OK, keep it to yourself if you've got it, Jonathan. You could do a little bit of writing down at the same time, or number of shots on target we had versus Everton. OK, got that? Multiply that number by Mason Mount's goals this season. OK.
What are you cheating for?
No cheating, Claire, no cheating. Right. OK, so then you've got a number. Subtract the number of goals we've scored in our last 2 visits to Molineux. I'll give you a clue because we saw one earlier. Saw a big one earlier. This is a tough one, I'll be honest with you.
What was that?
I'm terrible. This is not fair, this.
So the number you got from the shots against Everton times by Mason Mount's goals, take away the number of goals we've scored in our last 2 visits to Molineux. OK. I'll give you a clue. If you're in single digits at the moment, you're bang in trouble. OK?
No, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Divide that by Edu Mendy's squad number. OK.
Horses are tricky.
Right, OK.
I think I've got it.
OK, so, Dan, what's your final answer?
I don't know how to add this up.
I'll give you a minute then. Jonathan, have you got a number?
Give me a moment.
Are we allowed to
I'm doing the division right now.
No pressure. Just, whatever your answer is, I'll take it, mate.
It's wrong.
Why have I got 98 somewhere?
I'll be honest with you, Claire, if you've got 98, you're in trouble.
Yeah.
I got 4.
4, OK, good answer. Good answer. Hold that thought. Claire, what have you got? 1. Damn.
Honestly, I don't know what I've just done, but my calculator has just given me 1,199. But I've obviously done something.
OK, well, I'm going to put you all out of your misery because Jonathan has shown you up massively. He's bang on. 4 is the correct answer.
Can I rip this up yet?
I've talked you through it. Number of shots on target we had against Everton is 10.
Oh, I put 12.
I got 9.
That's good. Okay. Multiplied by the number of Mason Mount goals this season, 7. So that would give you 17.
Yeah,
I can't do math, that's what it is.
OK. Subtract number of goals we scored in our last 2 visits to Molineux, which was 6. We saw the 5 and then
that's
the 1.
where we went wrong.
So that gives you 64. Divide by Edu Mendy's squad number 16 will give you 4 as a
So I got everything wrong.
OK, yeah.
I
got it all wrong.
I mean...
Dan, you're not here for your maths brains, mate. You're here for the rest of it, and I appreciate your input.
To sell the retail.
I fancy myself at this as well.
Jonathan, by the way,
well
that is superb, mate.
He's got a calculator on his computer that he's using, don't he? And he's got internet. This is not fair.
If you're quick enough to do that Googling, then fair play. Absolutely fair play. Let's get back to today then. Obviously, a lot of build-up. obviously we're aware Thomas Tuchel has spoken about, you know, the difficulty in naming the squad and everything that's going on around it. I suppose, Claire, as soon as the whistle blows, that's the best thing for a footballer, because you've got no outside distractions. You just crack on with the game. Yeah, that's it. 100% focus on the game. All the noise around you disappears. It's down to yourself, your performances, controlling what you can control, and then just working as a team, believing in each other and enjoying yourself and not put too much pressure on yourself. And I really do think, as you were saying, slightly change kind of context, slightly less pressure because of the underdog situation, potentially. Well, not against Wolves, but, you know, in the general context of things. And I think it's going to be an enjoyable game. As I said, we're 3-1, so I'm hoping for the goals. I'll take that, 3-1. That's exactly it, isn't it? You've got to play what's in front of you. You've got to get on with the occasion. You've got to get on with the day-to-day. It's a tough place to go, Wolves. You know, notoriously they're very good at defending leads and defending sort of. There's not many goals in Wolves games, so it does feel like maybe if this is the game we're going to get back to that clean sheet and that Chelsea 1-0 rhetoric, then we'd take that. Yeah, it's important, and a lot of games have been called off recently. We are playing. I'm not quite sure yet if it's a good or a bad thing, but players want to play football. So everyone who's out there now will be focused and will want to bring home these 3 points. We've scored 6 in our last 2. I found out during that quiz here. So it seems to be a happy hunting ground for us. Hopefully we just go out there and get those 3 points. Absolutely. Let's get some social media reaction then to the team lineup and things like that. I'm going 1-0 Chelsea. Kepa and Bettinelli will come on in the second half. Chelsea shifts to a 3-5-2 with Kepa and Bettinelli up front. Bettinelli plays a beautiful through ball to release Kepa in a 1v1 position. Kepa chips it to win it for Chelsea in the 87th minute. I'll tell you what, if you're spot on, we'll have you on the show for Wednesday, because that'll be unbelievable. Mason Mount versus Wolves. Yes, please. We'll absolutely take that. We are Chelsea. We always thrive when our backs are against the wall. Let's get it, boys. That is exactly what we're talking about, isn't it? That's exactly it. That kind of us against the world normality of being a Chelsea fan, and you like that as a fan, Jonathan. We're used to that. We're used to people betting against us and doubting us and not wanting us to get a result, and that's a position we like to be in, I suppose.
Definitely, just like how we won the Champions League, our last 2 Champions League actually. We are definitely not the favourites, but where we are, we won. We are champions of Europe.
Absolutely right, mate. Absolutely right. This is like it. Champions get through games like this. Yeah. We keep coming back to it, but that's what Chelsea are. They're a team full of champions, and that's what today will be. I think, you know what, people are coming to Chelsea now because of the dip of form and slightly overreacting to it, thinking they can get something from the game, and I think absolutely won't be the case today. As you're saying, people love to bet against us. People love to see Chelsea lose, but I think we love that, don't we? And we're going to win. Come on the Chelsea. Yeah. So we spoke about Mason Mount. Do you think he'll be the difference maker today? I think he will. I'm expecting him to get the goal, the only goal that I predicted. But I feel like the whole team will pull it out of the bag today. We love it when our backs are against the walls. We already had a slight dip in form before, and we lost to Juve and pushed us on. And we had some good results after that. Jonathan, thank you, mate. You're welcome to join us at half-time and full-time. Claire and Dan will be here with us as well. We will continue to build up to live commentary of Chelsea versus Wolves next.